Welcome to We Were News. Every flight has a story, but some end in tragedy. In this compelling video, we explore how these events shape the future of air travel and the relentless quest to keep us safe in the skies. Now let's get going. Sauria Airlines Flight 197 crash on 24 July 2024. The crash occurred in Kathmandu, Nepal, shortly after takeoff. Delta Connection Flight 4819 at Toronto Pearson International Airport was a Delta regional jet that crashed upon landing, flipped over and burst into flames. Door and wing collision on April 24, 2025 in Hartford, Illinois.
Yeah, we are getting practice in. Holy sh**.
Hudson River helicopter crash, April 10, 2025. A Bell 216L4 LongRanger IV helicopter crashed into the Hudson River. The plane crashed with severe damage to the front of the plane. FedEx Flight 3609 at Newark Liberty International Airport. A FedEx cargo plane experienced a bird strike during takeoff, resulting in an engine fire. The aircraft made an emergency landing and the incident was captured from multiple angles.
Yes, sir, he's listening. All we see is smoke coming from the affected area now.
Helicopter with faulty system collides with fence and tail breaks in half near Waldorf, Maryland. The plane had a problem landing. The plane's wheels had a problem. The plane crashed, lost altitude and fell to the ground after impact. The plane caught fire. A Russian Il-76 plane crashed after its engine caught fire shortly after takeoff.
Oh, God.
The plane lost control when landing and the wheels broke and flew off. helicopter crashed into the water near Pearl Harbor. You will not believe he is okay after watching this video of the accident at Buttonville Airport. Cessna plane makes emergency landing near Lighthouse Park in Mukilteo. Video shows the plane plunging into the water. A helicopter was flying when it suddenly lost control and crashed to the ground in Baja California, Mexico. The plane crashed and burst into flames, creating a large column of black smoke.
Avisa!
Plötzlich kollidieren die Düsenjets.
Footage from the Ramstein air disaster shows the moment 3 planes from the Italian Air Force aerobatic team crashed. Airplane fire at Busan Airport on January 28, 2025, during takeoff preparation at Gimhae International Airport, Busan Air. Busan Flight 311 caught fire due to a power bank in the luggage compartment. During a military exercise in Veszprém, Hungary, a MiG-21 jet fighter suddenly stopped shortly after takeoff. The plane hit the ground and exploded. Two helicopters collided on Monday in northern Argentina, the crash occurring shortly after the 2 aircraft took off from a soccer field. A Boeing 767 cargo plane crashed while landing in Turkey this morning after its landing gear failed during landing. Boeing needs to improve. The plane lost control while landing, flipped over and came to a stop on a grassy area next to the runway. Plane crash captured from multiple angles. Personal helicopter crash in Tacoma, Washington. Luckily, all survived the crash. August 5, 2025. An Iberia plane makes an emergency landing shortly after takeoff from Madrid, colliding with a bird, causing smoke in the cabin and forcing it to return to the airport. The plane crashed and broke its tail when it landed. Helicopter crash in the Gulf of Finland.
There it is, waving off. So I didn't see anybody go up. Look out, guys. There we are talking about things going wrong. Hang on, fellas. Oh, my goodness.
The tail of the Black Hawk helicopter hit the mountainside. The collision caused the aircraft to break apart and debris to roll down the mountainside.
Good Lord. Oh, fellas. Oh, my goodness.
A Russian Mi-17 helicopter crashed while making an emergency landing due to a technical problem at an International Security Assistance Force base. An Italian Army NH-90 helicopter flying over Lake Bracciano during an air show after a dive following a spin crashed into the water and broke apart. The accident occurred during a rescue exercise where the plane apparently lost control while landing and crashed straight into coastal waters, tilting and partially sinking. The helicopter was flying when it suddenly broke apart in the air. Parts of the plane were thrown out. The plane exploded. Debris fell to the ground, followed by a large explosion on the ground. Small plane immediately after landing. While moving on the runway, the left landing gear of the plane broke. The left wing of the plane touched and rubbed against the runway, creating smoke. The plane tilted to one side and then stopped. On June 1, 2008, during the Wings on the Lake air show at Vigna di Valle Airport near Bracciano, Italy, a crash involving an Italian Army helicopter. The helicopter descended too low, causing its lower fuselage and tail rotor to strike the surface of Lake Bracciano. This unfolded in full view of a large audience gathered along the lake's shore and in nearby boats. The crowd attending the event remains petrified. On February 6, 2012, a U.S. Army AH-64D Apache helicopter, operating out of Forward Operating Base Sharana, crashed near a remote coalition outpost in Marzak, Paktika Province, Afghanistan. The outpost is situated at approximately 9,100 feet above sea level. On November 24, 2024, a Russian-operated Sukhoi Superjet 100 aircraft caught fire upon landing at Antalya Airport in southern Turkey. The flight had departed from Sochi, Russia, carrying 89 passengers and 6 crew members. The aircraft's left engine ignited, prompting the pilot to issue an emergency call. You can see flames emanated from the aircraft's left engine as passengers evacuated via emergency slides. Emergency response teams quickly extinguished the fire and all individuals on board were safely evacuated without injuries. The incident due to wind shear during landing, which may have caused a rough touchdown. During the winch start, a Ventus 2B glider suffers gear collapse. The speed is enough to get airborne. Shortly after liftoff, the winch driver interrupts the start and the glider is released. After a short glide in ground effect, a belly landing is made in the high grass and then a ground loop occurs. No damage to the glider or injury to the pilot. During the air show at Bratislava Airport in Slovakia, the Russian Knights aerobatic team Su-27 Flanker performed a belly landing after failing to deploy its landing gear on June 21, 1997. The aircraft touched down on its fuselage, creating a dramatic display of sparks as it slid along the runway. Fortunately, the pilot was unharmed and the aircraft sustained only minor damage. A rescue helicopter crashed on April 27, 2016 in Paraná, Brazil while preparing to take off, but both pilots escaped without injuries. As the helicopter began to lift off, it tilted sideways, causing the rotor blades to strike the ground and the aircraft to lose lift and crash, breaking almost in half. Security camera footage captured thick smoke immediately after the accident. The helicopter had departed from Florianopolis and was en route to Curitiba for maintenance, making a stop at a flight school along the way. On July 2, 2007, NASA's shuttle carrier aircraft, a modified Boeing 747, landed at the shuttle landing facility at Kennedy Space Center in Florida, transporting the Space Shuttle Atlantis atop its fuselage. On September 27, 2018, a Dassault Falcon 50 was involved in a runway excursion accident at Greenville Downtown Airport, Greenville, South Carolina. There was no fire. Fuel was observed leaking from the wings at the accident site. An American Airlines 777-200 collides with a Frontier Airlines while being pushed back from the gate at Miami Airport. On May 5, 2019, Aeroflot Flight 1492, a Sukhoi Superjet 100, was struck by lightning shortly after takeoff from Moscow's Sheremetyevo Airport, Russia. The aircraft returned for an emergency landing but bounced upon touchdown, leading to a hard landing that caused the landing gear to collapse and ignited a fire. On February 10, 2025, a private Aero Commander aircraft was forced to perform a belly landing at Sorocaba Airport in São Paulo, Brazil, due to a landing gear malfunction. The Washington Air Show mid-air collision occurred on July 28, 1945 at Wright Field in Dayton, Ohio, during a demonstration by the U.S. Army Air Forces. Aircraft were part of a three-plane formation about to make a pass for an air show. One plane, in a slow roll maneuver, lost altitude and crashed, sending flaming debris on a nearby highway. Despite the several technical issues and incidents it had, the Bell Boeing V-22 Osprey, a tilt-rotor military aircraft with vertical takeoff and landing capabilities, is still a great show. The MV-22 Osprey, a versatile tilt-rotor military aircraft known for its ability to take off and land vertically like a helicopter while cruising like a fixed-wing plane, executed a dramatic and carefully coordinated landing in Eisenhower Park, Long Island. On August 12, 2013, during a training mission near the runway of the Air Force Academy in Pirassununga, Brazil, an A-29 Super Tucano aircraft from the Fumaca Squadron crashed. Mariscal Sucre International Airport in Quito, Ecuador, has been the site of several significant aviation incidents, particularly during its operation in a densely populated area of the city. In this case, thankfully nothing serious happened. Watch as an ambulance helicopter in action in Santo Domingo, capital of the Dominican Republic. An Army helicopter crashed in Nova Friburgo, Brazil. According to the military, the aircraft crashed while landing due to strong winds. On July 30, 2020, a helicopter accident occurred in Brasilia, Brazil. Thankfully, there were no injuries.
Oh my God!
On July 20, 2012, a U.S. Air Force C-17 weighing approximately 400,000 pounds mistakenly landed on a 3,400-foot runway, an airstrip far shorter than what is typically required for such a large military transport aircraft.
How in the hell did he stop on that? No way.
During the commemoration ceremony for the 80th anniversary of the Provence landings 2024, an aircraft crashed into the sea off Le Lavandou, France. On December 9, 1999, a U.S. Marine Corps CH-46D Sea Knight helicopter crashed into the sea after attempting to take off from the USNS Pecos, a Navy oiler. The helicopter's landing gear apparently snagged a cargo net on the deck. During takeoff at Skiathos Airport, known for its short runway perched on a cliff edge, the powerful jet blast from departing aircraft can create intense gusts of wind that buffet the surrounding area, posing a thrilling yet challenging experience for everyone. In an urgent effort to combat a spreading wildfire near São Brás de El Portel, Brazil, a helicopter conducted multiple water replenishment operations by scooping water from nearby pools. Federal Highway Police helicopter encountered mechanical difficulties mid-flight, prompting the pilot to perform an emergency landing in a densely vegetated area. On July 9, 2023, a Hughes helicopter crashed when it was involved in an accident near Waldorf, Maryland. The flight crew of the helicopter detected an abnormal noise while in cruise flight, and the pilot felt a vibration in the collective. The crew chose to discontinue the mission and return to the departure airport. However, about 4 nautical miles from the airport, there was a loud bang/pop noise, and the helicopter yawed left. A Beechcraft King Air 200 executing an emergency wheels-up landing on runway 8 at Port Elizabeth Airport, South Africa, after the landing gear failed to deploy in March 2012. Thankfully, there were no injuries. A helicopter crash caused by misjudging the rotor radius is one too many, and this should be avoided at all costs. They take off between 2 buildings and not tow it to the apron or approved landing pad is the real reason that happened. Plain lazy. Over the past week, the world has been united in grief and sorrow as news of the tragic Indian plane crash continues to unfold, leaving countless hearts heavy. On June the 12th, 2025, the London-bound Air India aircraft, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, crashed on a medical college hostel soon after taking off from Ahmedabad. It's one of India's worst aviation disasters in decades. Investigators in India are studying the black boxes after recovering them from the aircraft wreckage to ascertain the cause of the plane crash. The plane that crashed was 12 years old. Boeing planes have been plagued by safety issues on other types of aircraft. There are currently around 1,200 of the 787 Dreamliner aircraft worldwide, and this was the first tragic crash in 16 years of operation. On September 24, 2017, at the air show in Terracina, about 76 kilometers south of Rome, an Italian Air Force Eurofighter F-2000A Typhoon from the test wing executed a high-speed loop over the sea. At the bottom of the maneuver, the jet failed to pull out, plunged into the water just a few hundred meters offshore, and disintegrated on impact, producing a massive plume of spray and smoke, visible to the horrified crowd. On December 13, 1969, Boeing test crew ferried the prototype Boeing 747-121 from Boeing Field to the short runway at Renton Municipal Airport. The aircraft undershot the runway by about 20 feet, causing the right side main gear to shear off against an embankment. The right engines and wings suffered damage, and small fires broke out. On December 5, 2021, shortly after taking off from Rogue Valley International Medford Airport under low cloud ceilings, a 1977 Piper entered a steep spiraling descent and crashed into the parking lot of Airport Chevrolet on Biddle Road. The crash resulted in fuel-fed fires that destroyed over 20 vehicles and damaged dealership facilities, but no ground-based injuries occurred. The cause was pilot's spatial disorientation during the climb, possibly exacerbated by flicker vertigo from anti-collision lights and clouds. An AS-350B AA Star helicopter experienced servo control transparency while heli-skying near Bear Creek Lodge after the pilot buzzed the lodge and then applied aft cyclic, increasing rotor disc loading. During the Jet Gold class competition at the 2022 National Championship Air Races in Reno, Nevada, Hoag's jet began climbing unusually during a tight turn, then rolled sharply, descended in an uncontrolled bank, Attenborough Hospital helipad destroyed by USAF Osprey departure by accident on April 21, 2021. After an impressive dirt landing and around 10 minutes of photos, she started up again before departing to Mildenhall. However, on takeoff, the rotor wash caught the rubber helipad mattings and completely destroyed the helipad, sending debris flying. At Prague Airport in the Czech Republic, a Boeing 737 passenger airliner was getting ready to land when it ran into a severe crosswind. As the plane touched down, it was trembling. Shaking from side to side, the skipper made the decision to take off once more. At last, he managed to stabilize the fuselage and made a safe landing. On September 17, 1936, at one of the national air races held in the United States, watchful spectators saw a thrilling aerial spectacle. One aircraft veered sharply, narrowly avoiding a crash just feet from the spectators. A Gulfstream G450 made a breathtaking approach and landing at Bhutan's Paro International Airport, arriving from runway 15, a maneuver renowned among pilots for its extreme difficulty due to the airport's mountainous terrain, narrow valley approach, and short runway elevation nestled deep within the Himalayas. (2025), a Beechcraft King Air 90 twin-engine turboprop crash-landed onto the roof of the Butler Avionics hangar at New Century Air Center in Gardner-Johnson County, Kansas. The plane carried two occupants, a 73-year-old male pilot and a 30-year-old female trainee, both of whom survived. No one inside the hangar at the time was harmed. When the helicopter is running while sitting on the ground, such as during touchdown, ground resonance might be dangerous. An imbalance in the rotor system may result from a sequence of landing gear shocks that travel to the rotor disc. Turkey sank a decommissioned Airbus A330 in the Gulf of Saros, Aegean Sea, about 1 nautical mile off Iberia Harbour in Edirne province, creating one of the world's largest artificial reef structures at roughly 98 feet depth. During a mission or flight operation, the powerful Wright R-2600 radial engine of the Grumman TBF Avenger torpedo bomber unexpectedly caught fire, sending smoke and flames streaming from the engine cowling. On April 2, 2024, an experimental amateur-built Merlin Light motor glider was damaged when it was involved in an accident at the South Lakeland Airport, Mulberry, Florida. On 26 May 1988, the sleek English Electric Lightning F6 thundered down the runway at RAF Binbrook for a departure to its new home at BAE Wharton. Skiathos Alexandros Papadiamantis Airport, located on the picturesque island of Skiathos in Greece, offers one of the world's most thrilling aviation experiences where, at the iconic spotter point just beyond the runway, spectators are treated to spectacular and heart-pounding moments as aircraft descend low over the beach, often just meters above the heads of onlookers. Landing at a field isn't really an emergency in a glider, even though an airport is preferable. Hope he's relatively near his guy with a trailer. The pilot was from Poland, and they are quite comfortable flying low to the ground, because there aren't many mountains in Poland.
No, to w przyszłym tygodniu stąd wyjadę.
Jaw-dropping surveillance camera clip from July 22, 2017 at Southwest Florida International Airport shows a bolt of lightning striking the tail of a Sun Country plane on the tarmac. The finish line is here. Don't forget to give us a like button and share your road encounters in the comments. And don't miss the video on the right side of the screen. See you soon.